Hi, Stampin' Friends. Today I am trying to come up with ideas for a fall swap that I am taking part in. My larger group of demonstrator team members, extended group, does a swap every month, and the person who chose the theme this month chose fall, which is perfect. I love fall, but I'm trying to stay away from using a fall exactly themed stamp set, just because I want to try to use stuff that's not necessarily fall. And I really love this Grassy Grove lately. It's sitting on my desk because I never put it away from the last card that I made with it. And so I thought, you know, this could be fall. And so I'm playing around with that idea. Not positive this is going to be my final swap, but I thought I would show it to you. I did a card. You can look back in my videos. I did a simple card, just pretty much using the deer and these little trees, and we didn't use the dies at all. Well, I think we cut out the deer. But this time I want to focus on this die here. I think it's really fun, and I want to show it because it doesn't cut out the outline, it cuts out the negative space around the outline. So that's really an interesting die, and so I thought I would show that. And of course I want to use some extra leaves and the deer. So that's what I'm going to use. And the other dies in this set cut out like the grasslands and the trees and things, but these are the ones I'm going to focus on. And I'm going to use pumpkin pie and crushed curry to color my tree leaves and pecan pie for the trunks. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to see what I think, and this might be my swap card. So I thought I would kind of make a frame out of the trees. So I want to show you how these cut out because I think it's really interesting. I'm going to kind of do it right here. Okay, so I've cut out this piece of crumb cake, and it is 4 by 5 1/4. And I want to cut out those leaves, and so that since this base is kind of not going to get used, I'm going to go ahead and cut my leaves out of that, and that way I can do it all at one time. All right, and while my cut machine is here, I'm going to cut out these deer before putting it away. I'm just going to grab some scraps. This is early espresso. Let's see if they'll fit on there. Little guy will. I'm trying to make it fit. If I put this up there, let's see, or maybe if I go like that, then it'll fit. Okay. Okay, so I've got my deer and my baby deer. Okay, and I've also got a card base, also in crumb cake. I did this in wild wheat too, and I'll show you what that ended up looking like when we're done. You can kind of see. So we've got baby deer and large deer. I'm gonna go ahead and say mama deer. And I think they all cut out, yep. Okay, so we've got our frame. Now isn't that interesting? So it cuts out the negative space around the trees, but it's attached. I mean, if you wanted to, you could maybe cut these trees out, but I think that would be difficult. And so you've kind of got this frame piece that I think is pretty interesting. So I really like that, and I'm going to stamp behind it just a row of these. I guess either one of these would work. I'm going to use this one because that's what I put on the block. But you could use this one across the back too, and it'll show through those trees. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do crumb cake. I'm going to just do crumb cake on crumb cake. just 2 across the bottom is all that's needed, I think. Let's see. Yep. I just wanted to have something back there. All right, and then I'm going to play around with this. I want to use some sponges to color in my trees. Before I go too much further, I do want to point out that this is awesome with designer series paper. If you're looking at this video in the month of August 2024, designer series paper, a lot of it is on sale. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And so you can kind of pick out something like this and imagine that behind. Now when I'm doing a swap, I have to make a lot, so I'm not sure that I have enough of a single, paper. So I maybe don't want to choose that, but isn't that pretty? You can look through the pack and find several that would look really interesting behind this. And so this is really a fun paper. It's called Thoughtful Journey, and that's what I was gonna do, but I wanted to sponge these and I couldn't find things that matched. You could also do a black silhouette on top of maybe a sunset-y looking colored paper, but it's really pretty. I also did it with a navy blue silhouette on top, and I think I have that somewhere. Maybe I'll make a video for that. It's so simple, but I needed fall, so that's not going to work for today. So for today, we're going to color this. Instead of relying on the color coming from our paper, we're going to have the color come from our sponging. Okay, I just wanted to show you because it's such a fun little die that you can use with your paper and get a really stunning scene going. While I'm showing you, I'm going to show you this too. Before I get into it, I just was looking at it so I know what page it's on. Okay, this is one that kind of coordinates. This one that I'm using, this stamp set, is called Grassy Grove, and then the dies I showed you already, they come with this one. And then there's a new one in the annual catalog that's called In the Grove. So we got Grassy Grove and In the Grove, and the images kind of coordinate really nicely. So you can see there's a different kind of tree, some different landscape, mountains, and they're sized so they can mix and match. So it's kind of a fun little, if you already have this one, you might want to add this one. This little scene builder is like aspen trees or birch trees type looking, without any leaves on it. And then here in this particular card on the sample, they actually combined them. You can see that there's the one from the deer set that I'm using in the background, and then in the foreground is the birch one. So they combined it, and here they put the deer, which is not in the grove, it's in the Grassy Grove, and then the fox, and there's a cute little squirrel too. So I wanted to show it to you because I really do think that this stamp set is really fun. All right, let's get into this card. All right, so we made these 2 little leaves while we were cutting those out. I want to sponge those as well. I have some daubers and a sponge from a previous project. I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm using pecan pie. I could use crumb cake also on this, but I really love this pecan pie. Maybe I just want pecan pie. So I'm going to just kind of sponge the area where the tree trunks are. Now you could do this with markers too, but I like the softness of the sponge, so I'm gonna go with that. But there's so many different ways. You could use watercolor paper and paint on these trees. Also super fun option. There's so many ways to use this die. All right, I think I've got enough pecan pie going. Just want to put a little more there. Okay. Now I'm going to work with, let's see, this one is my crushed curry. Now I'm going to try to leave the area on the very outside alone and just do on the inside so that there's kind of a little frame. And I was even thinking about masking off a frame with some post-it notes, but I thought that might be a little too much. So I'm just gonna, and you can go all the way to the edge, but for some reason I want to leave a little bit of a frame. I did one that went all the way to the edge, and I thought it was like too much. So we'll see what you think. Alright, so that is the yellow. I am going to put some down in the grassy area too. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of pumpkin pie. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do. Okay, so we've got these two. Now, isn't that cute? It's so fun. And when I pop this up a little bit, it's gonna give a shadow, so it's gonna have some depth to it, and that's really fun. Now for the inside, I am just gonna go ahead and stamp those grasses. Let me grab them again. But I gotta clean them off first. I thought maybe I would use sponges on them. I thought about not, and then I thought, you know, let's try it. So I'm gonna use some sponges. I don't know that I need to re-ink them. Let's see. We'll see what happens. I just kind of wanted a subtle background. Too subtle, isn't it? All right, I did need to re-ink them. Let's go ahead and do that. Sometimes you can just stamp the whole thing in the lighter color and then add additional color with the sponge. See if we like that. Okay, maybe I didn't do enough of the pumpkin pie. Didn't get enough of that on there, but that's okay. We're gonna put the deer on top. And so that'll kind of fade out to the background a little bit. So I'm going to take this deer from the stamp set, and I'm using Early Espresso, and I'm going to go ahead and just stick him right in the grasses, like that. Okay, so this is my inside. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down so I don't forget. Now remember these little leaves that we cut out, we want to add some color to them as well. Okay, now I like this glass mat, but you have to remember to clean it off in between. I like it because I'm not using so much paper when I was using my paper mat, but now I'm gotta remember to wipe it off so that you don't end up putting ink where you don't want it. And then I just use this little rag so I don't have to constantly get out paper towels. So I feel like I'm being very, what is that? Friendly to my paper environment. I'm gonna use my paper for my cards and not the garbage, right? Okay, so here is our background, and now I'm just going to take these foam adhesive strips. You can use dimensionals as well, but I like these because they're skinny and I can just go across the whole thing. I'm going to use 2 strips. Now I'm going to cut this up and use it for my deer. So I'll put one behind the baby deer. And behind the mama deer. And then, because I still have it, I might as well use it. I'm going to put, just to kind of help some of these areas in the center still stay up. Okay, there we go. I had another thought that you could do this one, although maybe it'd be better with the aspen one without the leaves, but you could do a snowy scene by putting a window sheet behind and adding some little snowflakes. That would be pretty. I don't have that birch one yet, so I have to get it. Aspen tree, birch tree, not sure which one it is. Okay, we're gonna go like this. Put that down. Okay, and let's put down the deer. So you see where I'm going. And then I'm gonna add my greeting. And I thought maybe it would be fun to add some copper to this. So here are the little deer family. Okay. So I also cut out a leaf in the copper, not sure. And then I thought, well, then I gotta add more copper. So I thought maybe I would do my sentiment embossed in copper. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick these down here. Okay. All right, so now my sentiment, I thought I would bring in some more of this early espresso to kind of bring some up to the top. So I happen to have another piece here. And I was going to do that copper to bring in more copper, so I'm going to emboss in copper. And I like to make thank you cards just because I need them all the time. So I'm going to do that. And then the other one I did, I used a happy birthday from another set. I'll show you that when I'm all done. My embossing tray is in the kitchen. Isn't that the way it works when you're trying to do a video? Okay, so all right, so let's heat that up. And there we are. What do you think? I think it was super fast and easy, but I really like the sponging, and it's just something different to do every once in a while. Grab your daubers and play around with them. Okay, so that is a swap idea. I will show you the happy birthday version. And on this one I didn't put the copper leaves because I had that idea after I made this one. And then I also had another idea. I'll show it to you. I'm not sure if I love it or not. I can't decide. Where I did it on wild wheat. And then that way I didn't use any yellow ink on there. I used the yellow from the paper and just added pumpkin pie. I was trying to eliminate a color. And then I did wild wheat ink for the background as well. Everything else was the same. Oh, but I also, I don't know if you can see this. I thought about doing it on here and I didn't do it. I made an edge in copper by just going ahead and sticking the paper directly into the Versamark pad. In fact, I'm going to do another one because I need to make more swap cards anyway. So let's try it. Okay, I got us to where we were before I paused the video. So now I'm going to show you what I meant by going around the edge, and probably, maybe you could figure it out, but it is really fun and it makes a nice image. So you can just kind of go like this with your cardstock and your pad directly, or you can use a sponge dauber. The nice thing about this particular die is that it's got a nice hole in it so I can hold on to it. And I don't want to, you can be big swipes too and have a really interesting background. I'm just going for a framed edge, just a little gold copper around the edge. So I'm just going to the very edge with my embossing ink here. Can't remember if I did this side. I don't think so. Okay. And I went out to the sink and got my tray too, because it's easier with the edge here to kind of push against it. And then I've got like this line of embossing powder. Okay, well, let's heat it up and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, there's a copper edge. Now, if you feel like some edges don't have as much copper, you can go ahead and do some more. But when you put it up against this, it really shows up, because then you can tell more where the edge of the paper is, and it just kind of gives a little metal edge, like it's not paper. All right, maybe I'm giving it a little too much, but I think it's really fun. I wonder if you could put the sponge with some Versamark within there, or if that might look too messy. I think that might look a little messy. So I'm going to put this down as it is. I'm going to pause and finish it, and then I'll hold them up next to each other, and you tell me which one you like better. Okay, video is back, and what do you think of this copper edge? I kind of like it, actually. I think that is worth the extra effort. And I accidentally put the adhesive on the wrong side of the taller deer, although I don't know if there's a right side or a wrong side. So anyway, this time the deer's looking the other way, which is kind of fun. All right, oh, and I should show you, I decided also I wanted to mix things up, and I did the trees differently on this one as well. I used a different stamp from the same stamp set, but you know, sometimes you want to mix things up. So you can go either way on the inside there, only I did it on white because I forgot that I was using vanilla. So it doesn't matter, you can kind of make it how you like. So happy birthday. I think I do like this gold or copper edge a lot. Let me stick that down. And that might be my swap card. I hope you like it. Check out the Grassy Grove Stamp Set and the In the Grove Stamp Set. They kind of look really nice together, and I really like the difference in the trees. So I like how they layered them in that catalog picture. So anyway, really nice. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.